Crafters, welcome back and thanks for joining me today. This is Jonna with Purple Girl Crafts. Today we're going to make a rotating card. Now I'm not going to go into the full details of this card. I will link the other ones to this video, but this is one just to give you some inspiration for a Halloween card. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll need our scoreboard and our first piece, and as you can see I already cut my circle out. This is going to be 11 inches by 5 inches. And then the circle, that is going to be a 3 3/4 inch diameter circle. Right, so we'll move that to the side. And then we will need 3 pieces, and these are going to be cut at 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. As you can see, I went ahead and cut my circle out of both of these pieces, and these will be the front and inside of the card. So one will sit like this, and the other one will sit on the back. Let's make sure you get this the right way. I marked them to make it easier. And then this other piece will be for the inside of the card on the right side. Right, so we'll move those out of the way. Then we need the inner circle cut, and I cut this at the same time I did the bigger circle. And this one is going to be cut at a 2 inch diameter. Now, I just cut it through both of them because I actually attached it to the bigger circle and just cut everything at one time. Then we need one circle, and this one is going to be cut at 1 1/4 inch. And this is just for that third circle, and it's for the moon in the card. And then we need one circle, and this will be 3 inches in diameter. And this is for the top of the front of the card. Our mechanism will be 3 inches by 4 inches. And then we're going to score this at 1 inch and 2, turn it, score it at 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, and 3 1/2. Now, I'm not going to go through the details on this. This is in the other video, and there's a diagram in the other video. So I'm just going to quickly cut off the pieces that I don't need on here. And again, I will link this in the video so you have it. So then we're going to come in and we're going to fold those score marks. So we're going to fold those 2 extra flaps, and that's for added strength to this mechanism. Okay, so then we're going to go corner to corner. Now, the easiest way before you score this is to lay that flap down and then just score it and then turn it and do the same thing on the other side. So you're just going to put an X right in the middle of that. So that is for the mechanism. So we're done with our scoreboards. Let's move that out of the way. All right, so now we are going to work on the mechanism. We're going to glue those 2 extra flaps down. And then I'm just going to use my bone folder just to push that glue down. And then we're going to go ahead and score out all those pieces. So we're going to, crease them out. So we don't need to do that one. We're going to do the diagonal folds next. Then you're going to fold in that end flap. And then the next flap down. Just right in that crosshair. Then so if you lay it just like this or hold it, just squeeze those 2 sides in. As long as your pieces don't overlap, you did a great job. And I'm going to show you how this works again. So when it's glued down, those 2 levers will slide in and out. Okay, so for the card, we're going to glue these 2 pieces down. So we're going to glue the top piece down. And then we're going to glue the bottom piece right there. So just making sure they lined up and they're right. And I'm just going to use my quick dry glue. Just lay that up, make sure it's lined up. And then just go ahead and just push that glue out. Flip it over and glue the other one down. And just turn it over and just make sure that you are not seeing any of the black from the base piece showing through. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that's secure. And then we're going to fold this. So the easiest way is just to fold it in half, make sure your ends are lined up, and then just crease out that fold. You could score it too if you needed, but it's just as easy just to fold it. All right, so this is for the base piece of the card. Now we're going to start working on the mechanism. We're going to glue this last piece down. This is for the inside. So we'll just glue that, making sure it's lined up. And just push out that glue. Okay, now for the mechanism. So we're going to put this on. I'm just going to lay just like this. We're going to glue that larger flap down. So just on that one end. So I'm just going to put glue on it. Just want to lay it down so it's in the center. Now you could measure this and make sure it's exactly in the center, but it looks pretty good to me. Okay. Next we have to do the circle. So now if you have a pattern paper, you want to make sure that when you line this up, and I've got 2 of them, that I'm going to lay this piece out flat. So just lay it flat like that, and then you want to line up, if you have a pattern paper, just line it up so that your pattern is, even. And then we're going to turn this over, you're going to lift it up, you're going to put that little arm underneath it, squeeze those arms in, and just put that through so it's flat, just like that. And then we're going to glue that down. Now, if yours is too short and you want it to make it a little longer, instead of making a bigger mechanism, you can just add a piece of extra paper under here. So I grabbed just a little scrap that I had, and I'm going to glue that on there just to give it just a little bit more holding power. So I'm just going to put glue on both of these pieces. I'm going to lay that down, and then I'm going to take that other piece, that extension, and just glue it down, just to give it just a little bit more strength. And then you want to make sure that's completely dry. Right, so then we're going to remove that piece of tape. That was just to hold the circle on for a second, just so it didn't move. Right, so now we're going to glue this last flap. So we're going to glue that down, so just make sure it's laying flat just like it is. And then we're just going to glue just on the flap. And then we're going to take the card, let me get this out of the way. And you're just going to close the card on itself and then just push that glue down. Now you want to make sure this dries. Now you could put a piece of white paper on the back here if you wanted to, so you can, sign the card. And I'll probably do that later. All right, so once this is dry and it's set, you can go ahead and open it and see how freely it moves. Okay, now for the embellishments. So this piece is going to go in the front, but before we put this on the front, we're going to do some of the inside pieces so that make sure that they move freely. So we're going to start with that one piece that was the moon. And we're going to put that on that top arm. So I'm just going to use a piece of tape because I just want to test it to make sure it's going to work. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape on, put it on there, and then I just want to close the card, make sure that it freely goes under because it's going underneath the mechanism. And then once you're satisfied, you can go ahead and just glue that down. So I'll put just a little bit of glue on the circle and then attach the moon right to there. Now, if you take a piece of paper, you put it under it, just go ahead and wiggle it just to make sure if there's no glue in there. And that way you don't have to worry about gluing it and getting it stuck. Okay, so that's for the first piece. Okay, now we're going to glue this on. I only want to make sure the mechanism on the arm was working correctly. This piece is going to go directly in the center, so we're just going to put glue on this arm. And just enough where you don't need to go all the way on the arm, just where it's going to hold the circle on. I'm going to put that down and make sure it's in the center. And then we've got our tree. Now our tree is going to go in the front, but it's only going to be attached at the top and the bottom. It's not going to be attached to the center because it's not going to be attached to the mechanism. So we're only going to glue just a little bit of it. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Now you could mark it, but I'm just going to quickly just glue just the tops of this, just kind of eyeballing where I wanted it to be. Just going to add glue just to each of the top of the stems and then at the bottom. And then I'm going to turn this back over. And I'm just going to secure it right to the card just like that. And then just kind of line it up, make sure it looks good. Not too much glue. That looks good just like that. Okay, then we've got all of our ghosts. So for the ghost, we're going to do some on the front and some on the inside. So I'm going to start with the one right here. So I just think it would look cute if there was a ghost on the tree. So it's going to get glued to the circle. So I'm just going to put glue just on the part that's going to get stuck down. And just like that. Okay, and then we'll do a couple more just around. And again, you can lay these out and just put some tape on them. So I grab some tape and I'm just lining up. You line it up when it's closed, then you can see that it doesn't stick out of the card and make sure it'll freely move. And I'm going to put another one at the bottom down here. Again, making sure that the card is almost closed so I can make sure he doesn't stick out. And that looks cute, just like that. And then we'll do another one in the tree. So we're going to put him right about there. So I'm going to just glue this piece down. Again, this one's going to go on the circle. And I want to make sure he's lined up so you can see his face. And he looks like he's coming out of the tree. That looks good like that. And then we'll do a couple more around. We're going to do one at the bottom. Let's do a smaller one. We'll put one right here at the bottom. So I'm, again, just going to put a piece of tape just to make sure. So it doesn't matter if it comes out of the bottom, but you don't want it to be sticking out when the card is closed. So I'm just going to take some glue. Now that I know where they need to be, I'm going to use my tweezers, and then I'm just going to lay it down and just glue him just on the inside there. So we'll glue these other two down. So I'm just going to take these off, take the tape off. And you could do more, you could do a few less if you wanted. It just depends on what you want to do. So we'll do that one there. And then we'll glue this last one. All right, so we're just going to glue this one. Now, if you wanted to, you could do like I did on the other card. You could put a piece of paper behind it and have them sticking up just a little bit more so you can see their full body. Didn't think about that when I was making this one, but that would work too, and it'd probably look really cute. And that was on the Christmas version of this that I did. So we're going to glue this one to the front, right about here. Yeah, make sure you don't glue on the other side so it doesn't stick down. And then we'll put one up here in the tree. I really like this purple and black together. It just really makes it stand out. So we'll put this last one on here. And then we've got the Happy Halloween. And we're going to put this just in the center. We're going to put the Halloween at the bottom, and we're going to put Happy at the top. So we'll put those right there, and then we'll put the Happy again at the top. You can also add, if you wanted to do a couple of gems on here, you could add a couple of gems. You could add some nice shiny stars or whatever you wanted to do. Right, that is it. I love this card. It has so many different ways that you can make this card. So that's it. That's the card that we made today. I want to thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Please check out my new Facebook page. There'll be free giveaways on my designs. Until then, happy crafting. See you soon. Bye-bye.